My name is Charlie, and this is my presentation for my Computational Environments project. So firstly, for this project, I was working collaboratively with another student, Gemma Harris. We both decided to work collaboratively on this project because we think we could get the most outcome by combining our research and our work efforts. So for this project, I was interested in looking at adversarial AI outputs and the way in which they can be used to evade AI, which is paired with surveillance and object detection models. I was looking at some AI detection models and the way in which they use the way in which their databases are structured, the way in which everything is categorized and put in a section so the AI can differentiate and look through all its data properly. But with this categorization kind of structure of the database, it's very easy for the AI to be able to focus and target a specific category, and so obviously that's a bit contentious for a machine to be targeting specific groups. And so for this project, I want to explore different ways of evading this kind of new kind of AI technology and kind of creating different ways in which people can kind of protect their privacy out in public. So for my research, I looked at many different artists. One artist, Zach Blass, I was really interested in the way they use color and form in order to mess up the visual language of the AI. So for example, the use of the color black, because it creates all different levels of depth, it really messes with the way the AI is able to read the image. I also like the way in which Zach Blass uses his mask to kind of explore this idea of categorization. So looking at the way in which the AI is able to target, say, women, gay people, black people, all these different ways that the AI categorizes individuals using both visual data, but also kind of the way in which it labels certain groups and categorizes them. Another artist, San Weekers. So the technique used in this piece is they've multiplied many different faces, and what this does is it causes the AI to have to look at multiple different faces all on the same person, which really disrupts the way in which the AI can categorize the image, because obviously the AI knows the image of a human as being a figure with one face. So by multiplying these aspects, you can really mess with the image language of the AI and get a really effective result in avoiding it, which I thought was really interesting. So another part of the research for this project was looking at AI image generators, one in particular called This Person Does Not Exist. What this image generator does is it has a huge database of different images of people, and it will just construct a fake image of an entirely fake person, just for the idea of it. But with this image generator, every so often it gets confused by its own data. So for example, if it has a set of data which has a picture of two people in it, it can't register the idea of two people being in this one image. So the information gets confused and the generator produces these different anomalies, which I thought was really interesting. And so I was really interested in taking this idea of confused data and the AI being confused by its own data, and kind of using this aspect of it to create something that could also be used to kind of confuse it kind of in other different ways. And so once we'd gone through the image generator, we just refreshed the image generator multiple times, generating loads and loads and loads and loads of images. And then every so often we'd get an anomaly, and every time we'd get one, we'd save it and collect it and put it into a storage of images. And so over time we collected all these different anomalies, and we decided to use these anomalies to create a visual pattern that could then be transferred to Fabric and used to make pieces for this project. And so both me and Gemma both made two separate patterns using the same bank of images, so using all those different AI anomalies from this person does not exist. And so we created separate patterns and we both had a different approach. For my pattern as well, I also wanted to include the ideas I've been researching with the other artists. So, for example, the use of color. I wanted to incorporate the use of shapes, different colored shapes, three-dimensional and matte black ones, just to play around with the depth of the image itself and kind of really create a kind of effective, jarring, glitchy effect that the AI will find super difficult to read. And so the final pattern, we ended up merging both of our patterns, and this worked really well because for some reason both of our patterns, even though we used the same pictures, they had a kind of different texture to them, and this kind of minimal difference in texture creates a really glitched effect in the fabric and in the pattern. And then paired with the kind of three-dimensional objects and the matte black shapes, as well as the kind of layering of both these patterns, it just creates something that is really kind of disjointed and difficult for the AI to read and to pick up on, because it can read it as so many different things, and there's so many different elements to it that there's just too many points for the AI to effectively pick up on. So once we'd completed our final design for our pattern, we had it printed on fabric, on a lycra fabric. It was very light and soft, as well as stretchy. And we did that using sublimation printing, so just from printed on paper and then printed onto the fabric using a heat press. And then we had to test the fabric. So we test the fabric using an object detection model. And what this model does is it will give you a percentage of how well it can detect whether something's human or not. And so what we found in that areas in which that were covered by the fabric, it was either not reading them at all, or it was reading them as a different object, so not as human. For example, it would read them as a tie or a pizza or a remote control or something like that. And so even that is also a way of kind of evading this kind of direct identification by the AI and by the cameras, and it's a way of avoiding that categorization. But yeah, so the results came out really well, and we found that the fabric was working very effectively. So when it came to constructing the piece, we found that on the AI detection model, the biggest thing it will look onto in order to tell if someone is a human is the eyes. So we needed something that completely took out the eyes as well as the other features on the face, just for extra effectiveness. So we've created these kind of hooded garments that will completely erase any feature on the face. Another element of the pieces that we felt was really important was the silhouettes created. What we found was that the object detection was able to still kind of pick up on things based on silhouettes. So even if it was just marginal, it was still able to kind of pick up on stuff. So we really wanted to kind of get rid of that element and create kind of new silhouettes using the pieces. So by taking out the neck and the shoulders and just kind of neutralizing the silhouette and kind of ensuring there's nothing overtly human that the AI will be able to kind of pick up and draw on in order to categorize the person and then further track them. And then the final stage of our process was to then test the garments. And then so we tested the garments using the same object detection model. And the results showed that the garment was very effective at multiple distances. Even up close, it was detecting the person with no mask on, but not detecting the person with the mask on. So as you can see, the kind of taking out of the neck and the taking out of the features, even though the shoulders and the arms are still present, that is still very effective or completely effective in avoiding the AI. So Our process was really effective, and I think we came out with a really great result and a really effective result through the kind of research and the multiple elements which we put into it. And so I was very happy with the result, and because it very effectively works, and I was very happy with it. And me and Gemma did a very good collaboration. Thank you.